Hello again, and it's time for another project. Nice easy one today. We're simply just going to cut out these 4 card playing suits. So you've got your heart, your clubs, your diamonds and your spades. Just cheap fencing wood again for me. And the idea, we're going to cut them out and then we'll route out the heart and the diamond so them 2 suits are lower and the 2 clubs and the spades will stand slightly higher. You could route this out. We're going to scroll saw it today. So as always for me, we've placed our carbon paper underneath. You literally would stick this down with some painter's tape in the position you wanted. I'm just going for a straight line this morning. You could turn and twist and put them whatever angle you feel comfortable with. And you literally put your carbon paper underneath and draw around this. That way, once you've drawn around it, we can use this again and again for another project, which I'm going to use. If it was a one-off, you could literally just put your painter's tape over the wood and glue that onto there and literally just cut around that. But that would be the end of your template. This way, we can use this one again. So there we have it. We've got it onto the wood, just our carbon paper. That's had some use as that one. And there we have it. So you can see the general design we're going for. And we'll cut this all out with the scroll saw, like I say, and then route out these 2 sections here. So these 2 will be raised up. You can see, and when we route out, we'll have to go around that, and then all this middle piece, and round that piece is there. So we'll see what the effect's like once it's finished. Now for scroll sawing, you get 3 basic types of blade. You get what they call a pin blade. These are for your older machines. Obviously called a pin blade because they have the pin at the top and the bottom, and that literally just clips into your scroll saw with the blade facing forward, and you would have to just keep turning this wood all the time. So you imagine you start cutting there on your scroll saw, you would have to come down and then really turn this wood to come down and then really turn it round again. If I can just do it on here to start coming round here. So you're limited with the size of the project you can use. The neck on mine, I believe, is 16 inch. They do go up to 21 plus. So the better the saw, the bigger the piece you can use, and you can quite happily use them. They also do a pinless blade, exactly the same again basically, with the blade at the front, but no pins obviously, and they will go into fancy clamps, adapters, or with the newer machines they just fasten straight in. That way you can use more detailed work, because you would drill a pilot hole and this little pin's going to feed through, where you're obviously not going to get that one through, but because it's got the pins on. But for me today, I'm going to use what they call a spiral blade. Now, they're not everybody's favourite, and I did struggle for the first couple, but I love them now. I use them all the time. Now, these are actually spiraled, as the word says, so you can cut from any direction you want to, up, down, left, right, whatever. So I'll basically feed this into my saw, and I can just feed the wood across, feed the wood across, feed the wood across, and basically that wood will just go left to right. We go around the full project and do the same coming back down this way. None of this turning and twisting. They're not everybody's favourite, but I prefer them, to be honest now. So we'll pop this in. You can see it's got those awkward adapters on. That's just because my saw's so old. And that will clip at the top, clip at the bottom, and you obviously can put your pinless blades in there, as our spiral blades pinless. Okay, we'll get this all set up and cut this one out, and then we'll talk about the router side of things. I'm going to put a pilot hole in here because I want to keep this framework so the piece will sit in it. This will allow you just a bit more of a surface for us to run the router on when we're coming to route it out. Whereas if we just cut it all out, it could just get a little bit awkward. So we'll leave it in the frame and then we'll do the routing side. Okay, let's cut it out. Okay, just before we start, we've drilled our pilot hole through. We've fed the blade up. Remember, you want the blade to be smooth on the way down and rough on the way up. That way you know you've got the teeth in the right way. You've got a nice ping ping sound to it. If I can just get it away from the wood. And you can adjust that. It's just something you get used to, and tighten it up at the back or on the top, whatever it is on your saw. There we go. Now I have noticed here, I'm literally right to the edge when I come to cut it, so this will probably break off anyway. So we've defeated the object of trying to keep the frame to it. So we could have just come straight in from this side. But when we come to route it out, we'll keep this wood and we'll put it back together again, just enough for us to run the router on. Okay, let's start cutting this one out. Right, we've gone all the way around with our Pegas number 5 spiral blade. Very easy, simple cut. Nice little basic projects for somebody that's maybe just starting out with the scroll saw and a router. Remember, it's on cheap fencing wood, so this wood's buckled, twisted, it's really rough, but it sands down well enough, and it's ideal for those that maybe don't want to go out and spend too much money on fancy woods when they're just starting out on these kind of projects. Okay, as I previously said, we cut round it. We lost that bit there, but that doesn't matter. This is all scrap wood, remember. We just want this as more of a support base for us, so we can run our router on there, and there's less chance of it catching on things and tipping over. Right, routing out bits. As always for me, on my previous projects, I like these CNC bits. They come in different degrees, 30s, 20s, 10s, 15s, I believe. They do have a small Dremel size shaft on them, and they will fit in a Dremel, no problem. I know that for a fact because I had to use one last week because of my router, which I shall show you in a minute. Anyway, and that fits inside a collet, 6.35mm. You simply just slot that into there. That's a 3.175mm. Now that's got a 1/4 inch shaft on, and that will fit your router, no problem. And then when we come for clearing out these bigger pieces, I've got straight end double blade bits. But just to show you guys, like on my previous projects, these end milling bits, they're fantastic. They fit the same collet, and we use them to remove the bigger section and in these tighter areas just here. But just before we get onto the router size, as I just said, my router has died the death. I had 4 of them at one time, and if I can just show you this bag full of stuff. I was robbing a motor off one to put on another, the bushes off another, even the base itself died on me. So that's basically what I'm left with. So there is another one on its way, hopefully. I can still find the old Black & Deckers. I just prefer to use them. The most popular ones are your DeWalt's and whatever, but not for me. So I've dug out Big Bertha, this big ugly thing. But it will do for today's. Remember, we're only moving the diamond and removing a couple of mil off the art and like diamond, like I just said. So it'll do for what we want, but I could not do a lot of projects with that one. But last week, I actually used this little thing which fastens on the end of a Dremel, and that worked. I did a little Coca-Cola sign, which is outside on the shed. And for small projects, they do actually work. And obviously you would put your CNC bit straight into your Dremel, and that will fit on the base of your Dremel, and away you go. So there is options out there as temporary, but I certainly couldn't do a large project with that. Right, I'll set this one up inside the beast, Big Bertha there, and we'll route out the lines round here, over there, and one there. So literally a 2-minute job, and then we'll change the bit and remove this section and this section, just a couple of mil, so the club and the spade stand up. Right, you can see from that we've gone round our tip of the spade and the bottom of the club. So again, the effect we're going for, this really is a monster of a machine. It's just all the noise is horrendous. So I'm glad that's more or less finished for that one. However, we will have to put another piece in now. Now I like these end milling bits, and we'll literally just set it to the same depth as that. Either one of these, and we're just going to clear off all the stuff up the heart here, and we clear off the diamond, just so these stand a little bit more proud. There is bigger bits out there. I've got some really big chunky things like this with double blades on, straight edge bits these are called, and that will whip that off. But there again, they're quite savage, so I'm just going to go a bit steady. We might end up putting one of these ones on yet, just see how we go on. The good thing about leaving it in the framework like this, like I said, it gives you room for the router base to run on, and it doesn't matter, we can go straight up to the edge, we can run off the edge, it doesn't matter, because eventually we're going to take all that out, and that's what we're left with. Right, we managed to go around with the tools that we have. So we've skimmed over there with our router. This did have a slight bevel on it, so that didn't help with the router pivoting. But we got there, and it's rough and ready at the moment. But we'll sort that out once we've got the sander on it, and the tremble burrs, and a little mouse sander. But you can see the basic shape that we're going for. So what we do now is general tidy up, smooth it all down. We'll round these off just slightly, nothing too fantastic, and then we'll be on to our painting side. We'll sand it down next. Right, that's it. As regards to sanding down, that's plenty enough for me. We can see the general idea we've gone for with our 4 suits of the deck of cards. Now painting wise, red, black, red, black. Can't get any simpler than that. Now normally I would paint with a brush and paint. I've done it on 99% of my projects. But on the last one I did, I actually started to use a bit of spray just for trial. And I must admit I did quite like it. So I'm going to actually spray this one. Red and black, quite simple. However, because we are using spray, we're going to have to mask it off. And I will just use my simple painter's tape, literally to mask off these areas and give it nice covering on the 2 black ones. We'll cover that first, spray our red, and then we'll cover the red, spray our black, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, we'll mask this off first and start spraying the red on. Okay then, this little project is finished. Now the spray paint, it works fine, it covers well. However, by the time you've masked it all off with the tape, I could have painted it quicker with the brush. So it has its place, especially on bigger projects. It's going to take more painting. Now the paint's obviously a nice gloss red. I did get the wrong black. I thought it was a gloss and I ended up with a matte. But luckily enough for us, I always finish with my crystal clear Gives it a nice shine, plus it gives it a little bit of protection. So that's shined it all up, as you can see from there. And that's it, this little project is finished. Just on bits of fencing wood, remember. So nothing too fantastic, but the nice little practice pieces for somebody that's maybe just starting with the scroll saw and the router. And you don't want to go out and spend a lot of money on expensive wood. That could be a total disaster. So just enjoy what you're doing, that's the main thing. So there we have it. Suits of a playing card, 6 inches by 21 on cheap fencing wood. Pegas number 5 spiral blades project. And there we go. Thank you very much for watching.